Two types of chainrings can be fitted onto the crankset: compact or standard chainrings. In order to fit the chainrings onto the crankset, you will need your crankset, a torque wrench with a 6-bit, a 5mm Allen key, and the hardware kit provided with the crankset, which includes 5 chainring attachment pieces, 5 inter-chainring spacers, and 5 chainring attachment screws. And finally, a set of chainrings which can be either compact, like here, or standard, like here. To fit the chainrings onto the crankset, take the smaller chainring, for example the 34 teeth. Place it over the crank, the spider, and leave it over the crankset spindle. Take the outer ring and place it over the crank and the spider and leave it on the spindle. Make sure that the chain elevator is placed behind the right crank arm. Once both rings are on the spindle, take the attachment screws. These are the long bolts which will go through the spider and support the chainring. Make sure the chain elevator is lined up behind the crank arm. And place the screws in the 110 BCD for compact chainrings or in the 130 BCD for standard chainrings. Take the inter-chainring spacers and place them over the screws. You then need to locate the dimple on the smaller ring, which will go behind the right crank arm. Place the smaller ring over the same holes as the outer ring. Take the chainring attachment screws and your 5mm Allen key and screw them in the pieces. Repeat 5 times. Use the torque wrench set on 6 Nm and your 5mm Allen key to tighten the chainrings to the recommended torque. To sum up, you need to make sure that the attachment pieces are located on the outside of the spider, the attachment screws inside, that the compact rings are fixed on the 110 BCD and the standard rings on the 130 BCD. Make sure that the shift elevator is behind the crank arm and the marker on the smaller ring.